So, what are the major trends in this now advertising industry movement? What are some of the major trends? Well, one is that consumers are taking control over content consumption. In my last presentation last year, we were already on that track where we're saying consumer-generated media is where it's at. People want to be where they have an input and an impact on generating that media. So content is very important, but the way consumers get that content has changed. And there's a lot of reasons for that. The other thing is consumers take part in the shaping of your brand message. So I always give this little example because I think it's just really short and sweet and people get the point. For example, you're Coca-Cola. You put out a whole new product called Cherry Coke and you think it's the greatest thing, it's wonderful. However, on the internet, a couple of teenagers who drank that particular product said it tastes like medicine. Who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe Coca-Cola or those teenagers that now are blogging all over the blogosphere about your product that it tastes horrible? You know, now, it could work for you in two ways. One is that everybody wants to try it because it tastes like medicine and they want to see if it's really true. The other thing is it could ruin your product. So you have to be careful how you're using a lot of the viral media today because it can make or break a brand. It can establish a brand very quickly, on the other hand. And there are examples of that. So basically what we're saying is mass media, the internet is going to be a major content consumption vehicle. So people are going to get a lot of information and get a lot of product information and get a lot of advertising from the internet today instead of some of the other traditional things that they've been doing in the past. And this is a great opportunity for marketing and advertising if you know how to harness it. They have a new word here. How many of you have heard the word communitainment? Anyone? I'll tell you. Piper Jaffray, I was reading the report, and that was the first new thing that I learned, having to prepare for this presentation. And what it is basically, to make it very clear, is it's a blend of community, communication, and entertainment. And today, people are looking at all of the arts very differently than they did years ago. They want to be engaged. They want to be part of the scene. They don't want you to tell them what to do. They want to become part of that community. And there are a lot of implications that advertising that really extend from that change and trend. Basically, a community extends your interest. So, for example, if I like gardening and I go to a website that's all about gardeners and all the gardeners are talking on a forum, for example, about gardening, and I have a question, I put my question on the forum, then, you know, I have somebody in that space who's really knowledgeable who's going to answer me and give me some, and then I go out and I can plant my rose garden and I have maybe the right nutrients to put in there because somebody told me that, but it was on the internet with that exchange of information. So that's why the community aspect and the communication aspect is so powerful. The other thing that we've noticed is that on a lot of the social networking sites, and there's another new word that I'm going to throw out, they call them U-sites. U-sites. And those are really social networking sites. To make it a little shorter, they say U-sites. Basically, they segment and fragment the audience. Because as I said, if I'm a gardener, I'm going to go to some place where there are other gardeners. If I like ballet, I'm going to go to a vertical that may be a portal where other people that have my same interests. So the communication is part of it. The community is part of it because I know I'm a member of that community and I like what is there. But then, you know, I'm also not on the other site. So for an advertiser, that could be a nightmare. Because now you have to find out where your audience is, and it may be very fragmented. They may be all over the place. Okay? And then the communitainment will partially replace other forms of content consumption. For example, television shows to magazines, as well as web portals. And I'll tell you about that because even the web is changing. So it's not just, you know, TV, radio, etc. Even the web is changing as far as trends, and I'll point that out as well.